Hello, my name is Jonathan Miller and I'm an Associate Solicitor at Whitehead, Monckton. And in this short video I'm going to be talking about arrangements for children and the current coronavirus public health emergency. I'm going to be talking about three things. Firstly, what are child arrangements? Secondly, what do the current coronavirus restrictions say in relation to children? And thirdly, how do those two interact with each other? Quite simply, it is the time that the children spend with both yourself and your former partner or any other person. It might be that you have a voluntary arrangement that you've come to simply by talking to your former partner or by some process such as mediation, or it might be that there is a court order, and that court order might have come about either because you asked the court to make an order in those terms or because the judge made those orders after having heard from you, your partner and your respective legal representatives. Children arrangements orders are made under the Children Act of 1989, and to quote exactly the Act, it is an order which regulates arrangements relating to any of the following: with whom a child is to live, spend time or otherwise have contact, and when a child is to live, spend time or otherwise have contact with any person. A court can impose penalties if those orders are not complied with without a reasonable excuse. Those penalties can include an unpaid work requirement, a fine, imprisonment if the matter is sufficiently serious. It can also include ordering that the child lives with the other parent, again if the matter is deemed to be sufficiently serious. It's important to note that in the current public health emergency, those orders still continue to operate and are still effective. The COVID regulations came into force in March on the 26th, and there were some slight amendments made on the 22nd of April. These are touched upon in the government leaflet that you should have received at home, but the leaflet isn't very detailed, so we need to take a little look at what the regulations actually say. To give them their full name, the Health Protection Coronavirus Restrictions England's Regulations 2020 say that no person may leave or be outside of the place they are living without a reasonable excuse. The regulations go on then to list several examples of what a reasonable excuse includes. And as far as children, the exemption is found in paragraph J, and that says, and I'm quoting here, in relation to children who do not live in the same household as their parents or one of their parents, to continue existing arrangements for access to and contact between parents and children. For the purposes of this paragraph, parent includes a person who is not a parent of the child, but who has parental responsibility for or who has care of the child. This therefore means that existing child arrangements, whether by way of court order or voluntary arrangements, can continue. It also includes another person that the child lives with, for example, a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or some other carer. So the regulations do therefore allow you to leave home for the purposes of moving a child between homes and facilitating those existing arrangements. Sir Andrew McFarlane, who is president of the Family Division and the most senior family judge in England and Wales, issued some guidance about this on the 24th of March. That guidance is quite short, and we've linked it in the description to this video below, so please have a look at that. It's only a couple of pages long and it's written in fairly plain English. In essence, what the regulations mean is they don't mean that children must be moved between households. Equally though, the regulations are not a reason to stop all contact altogether. What parents are going to have to do in every case is they're going to have to look and they're going to have to make an assessment. They'll have to look at the child's health and the presence of any other vulnerable individuals in that child's household or households. If parents have worries or concerns about these things, then they should communicate those concerns to each other. And if parents can agree something else in place of the existing arrangements, whether that's voluntary or by way of court order, then they are free to do so. It's a good idea, if you do that, to record that variation in something like a letter, an email or a text message. It's entirely possible for one party to have no concerns about continuing the existing arrangements, whilst the other party quite reasonably has very significant concerns about doing that. In those circumstances, parties ought to consider mediation or collaborative discussions. Those are processes designed to keep matters out of court, and they're also quite well suited to be dealt with by way of video conferencing. What if parents still can't agree? Then in those circumstances, one parent might have to take the decision simply to end the existing arrangements. However, they need to be wary about doing that. The other parent can always bring the matter back to court, and in those circumstances, the court will look at whether both parties have acted reasonably. If the court finds that one party has acted unreasonably, then it may well impose one of the penalties that I talked about earlier in this video, or vary the existing child arrangements. The court will look at the existing arrangements, the stay-at-home rules, and any specific evidence relating to the child in question. The court will expect alternatives to have been offered, again, such as video conferencing or telephone calls. What's important is that courts will expect the spirit of the order to be complied with, even if it's not possible to comply with the letter of the order. Courts are still functioning in the current public health emergency, though on a scaled-back basis, with remote hearings now being the usual rather than the exemption. And of course, solicitors are still functioning. So that's all I have to say in this short video. Thank you very much for watching. Please do read the guidance in the description below. And we are still open for business at Whitehead Monckton, so if there's anything that you'd like to discuss arising from this video, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you for watching and stay safe.